Hey folks, we're back. Nate here, Christian here. That was an
Yes.
interesting face.
No.
Right. I guess France like is different as far as even nudity, right? Just
Yes, and
publicly
and and
also in
England.
video. Yeah.
Yeah, in the UK as well. They're much more lenient here, but also, yeah, like you said, they're very. That's one fun thing about watching French shows is they they're not lewd by any means, but they're much more open to explore. I mean, they're on TV, like national television. They'll be showing breasts, they'll be showing butt, whatever.
Mhm.
They'll show the coochie, they will show the penis. Like they don't get it's not an issue, right?
Right.
And they'll show more intercourse, even though they won't show like penetration or anything like that, but they will show them, naked and doing intercourse on national TV, and it won't be a huge thing. Up right on his crotch.
It's just a
That's
dream.
a beautiful picture of JB. Like
What's he feeling, I wonder?
well, in the last episode, he said that he
We must
was
beware of these communists and queers who are not worthy of the confidence of the American people.
like
Why is
Superman.
it that
Like
these so-called powerful men cringe in the face of communism when rooting out communism has always been a bare-knuckle job?
Selling himself in Rehoboth Beach.
Nice place to spend a weekend. You going alone?
selling himself.
I am.
I'm curious.
That doesn't mean I'll be alone. Fewer eyes on you down there.
On the house, handsome.
Okay.
I need to speak with this young man on a very urgent matter of national security. Would you mind?
That's not
Thank you.
suspicious at all.
Right.
And he leaves?
Have to say,
Doesn't he have a
forgive-
post?
Right.
Forgive me. You haven't called in 3 weeks.
4.
How do I love thee? Let me count the weeks. I'm going away for the weekend.
I hope you enjoy yourself.
Yeah, he did.
I will.
His hair is lighter.
If you join me.
I mean, darker. I mean, I'm sorry, because I wanted to say something before, but I was like, no, because every time we do this, like, we start talking like 5 minutes into the show.
Right.
Like, so now we're 10 minutes into the show. So now I feel better
Hey,
about it.
success. We did it. We did it.
Just before we started recording, I was telling you about how the actors and stuff like that in old, golden days Hollywood and stuff like that, where the gay ones were, they were scared of, they were scared of being out and stuff like that. There was this thing about where everyone would deny if they had a friend who was gay, they would deny it, and that was kind of the badge of loyalty. They were like, so now we wouldn't be like, now it would be kind of an insult if you knew someone was gay and you just told other people that they weren't, whereas back then you were basically saving their life.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's also the side of it that, I know, in the US when Trump was president, right? People were like, there are certain people that were upset with anyone that worked in the administration, right?
Okay, yeah.
At the same time, right, if no one of competence or quality works there,
Mhm.
then who's working there, right?
Right.
It's only worse. So to some degree, right, it's like it's
Inside man.
right, like you can affect change if you are there,
Mhm.
right, versus not being there. Now, to me, it's the difference between, hey, like, do I support this person or do I simply work for this person? And I do my specific job. And if my job isn't directly related to that thing, like
Mhm.
it's a government job, right? It's not like I work
Right.
for them personally, like
Right.
they happen to be in charge of this area in the government. I happen to
Mhm.
work there and I'm doing my job to the best of my ability.
Right.
If something seems off or whatever, I'm gonna fight for that. But at the end of the day, like I work for the government. I don't work for this person.
Yeah.
Now
Well, so what
that's
do you think about that?
yeah,
Like,
I don't see an issue with that necessarily,
Mhm.
right? That you are trying to do your job and this person that happens to be in that seat right now is kind of counter. Now, again, if he's working on this person's specific staff, that's a little bit different, maybe,
Right.
right? Like their personal staff, right? Not, the apparatus. Like as far as the president, right? Like if you're say the president's chief of staff, I think that's a little bit different than you work for some department the president oversees, right? Because
Right.
that's any number of people, right? Like that's a whole different thing. So
Right.
I don't know. I think there's some difference there, but yeah,
There might
it's
be
it's
some
it's it's
nuance.
it's
Yeah.
it's hard to know, right? Because again, like you need livelihood, you need to live, you want to work. If you want to work in the government, you're not always going to necessarily agree 100% with the person that is in charge of your department or the president, right?
Right.
That's different from, hey, like my job is to work for justice or, you know, um, diplomats or whatever, So I think there's some leeway there.
Personally, and I don't say anybody should be acting like this because I'm a different type of special person when it comes to
Yes,
certain
you
things.
are.
So I personally, if I disagreed with the person, I'm one of those persons. If I continuously I would take it straight to this person, right? It'd be head to head, me and this person, so me and the senator and stuff like that. But if I realize that they are not listening or they don't want to, if they're not going to listen, yeah, I'd peace out. I don't care if it's a job or not, because it's not something I would want to support, and something I just would not personally tolerate, right?
Yeah.
I do understand this idea of, maybe you can fix it from the inside, which is what I kind of thought before I left the church. I was like, I actually thought I was going to stay in there and kind of fix it from the inside, but it's also not my personality. My personality is to fix it if you want it to be fixed, like to propose solutions if you want it, but I'm not going to sit there and try to convince you or force you to,
Yeah.
change.
That's not for everyone, right? Like not
Right. It's
everyone
not for
has
everyone.
has
It's
the ability
precisely.
to really stay in a positive place and not just be toxic in that environment, right? Because staying and saying going to fix it, but really you're just being toxic and like negative all the time. Like that's
Right.
not like
That's
just
not going to
leave,
help. Right.
right?
Exactly.
Just
Yeah.
that's not helpful. But also I think there's a difference between because I was mentioning before, like I want to be a public servant and work for the government. Like working for the government isn't simply a job in many
Right.
ways, right? Like I'm working for the government. I'm doing this because I want to work for the
Yeah.
government.
You're supporting the government. Yeah.
Yeah, separate from, hey, I want to work at Microsoft. Like I work at Microsoft. If I think CEO sucks, is going in a bad direction, I don't see any reason to stay there, right?
Right.
Unless you simply can't move yet, right? Like it's like you can just go get a different job, but like
Right.
if you can get a different job somewhere else at a different public company that's there for profit, then go to a different one, right? Like
Right.
that to me, like that's easily interchangeable, right? Like, hey, I disagree with the way they do things here. I'm gonna leave the other one. Work for
Right.
the government, like there's not like I just go work for the other one. Like
Mhm.
this is what it is,
Right.
like the
Yeah.
job is serving the people
The
by working
people.
at the
Right.
government. It's
Yeah.
not
That's
about
true too.
so it's a little bit different scenario.
This is nice.
Nice hairy chest.
If you need a break from wallowing, come to our show tonight.
Duke's at Foggy Bottom. That's a white club, and I don't think it's queer.
No, those white squares love Stormy.
They work for you, and I don't believe they're helping your cause.
I need Roy, and he needs David, so...
Do you know how the East Coast elite refers to the three of you?
I have a feeling you're about to tell me.
Bonnie, and Clyde.
I assume I'm Clyde in that equation.
It's not funny, Senator.
Gene, they've been saying all sorts of things about me for years. Nothing sticks.
Well, I'm afraid there's nothing to be done here. If Mr. Shine is drafted, which I expect he will be, he'll be inducted and treated as any other soldier. Good day, gentlemen.
Go over Reba's head, all the way up to the Secretary of Defense. Or Eisenhower, if I have to.
I don't want to assume just because he touched the back of his neck that means something.
Yeah. Right. I don't.
But
then
given
he
the
didn't.
show, because he wasn't mad that he touched him.
Right.
He's
Exactly.
He's just still mad that he can't get him out of the draft.
Right. But the problem is, like, he doesn't know. Like, he doesn't know if he can. He's just unhappy that he didn't immediately, right? Like his intimidations tactics didn't work immediately. Like that's what it seems like he's more upset about rather
Right,
than
which to me just means you're just a spoiled brat, right? Like, what do you like, what's your problem?
yeah,
But I'm
yeah.
still on, are they trying to say something about him? Like, is he closeted
Yeah,
or
like
what's happening?
I don't know. Like one of the two. Like okay, so this because this happens. Just I was watching this um, Epstein show on Netflix. I had to stop it. I could not. I couldn't keep going just because I was just like this. He's got so much power, and what's it called? Filthy Rich, I think it was called.
Mhm.
He's just got all of this power, doesn't know what to do with it, and just abuses people, for it. And so, like there's this thing, like when people read the Bible and they're like, man shouldn't be lying with man, like in Leviticus or whatever the case may be. Um, it's funny how people read that and they're just like immediately gay people, right? But the whole kind of context around it is treat people cor- correctly. Like, but if he's forcing another man to have sex with him, you know, that's a sign of power, sort of thing. So like it's amazing that just from the Bible perspective, people just took what this whole Leviticus context. I mean, all over the Bible when it's talking about this is very clear. This is what they're saying, and they're just like, oh, they just talked about men having sex with men. No, they're talking about abuse. That's what they're talking about. They're talking about something that no one would want done to them. Sort of thing. So I don't know. I don't know if this is what he's going for. He looks a little afraid, the Roy guy. Um, I think he might be gay or bisexual or something like that, and might be getting favors from this other younger guy, um, but the younger guy might himself be bisexual, right? It's
Yeah,
like
I couldn't tell with either of them, and I'm not even sure their power dynamic, right? Because you're asking him to do something for you,
Mhm.
and he's saying he'll do whatever it takes, but I can't tell who is the higher ranking person really. I wonder, and we are way off on a tangent,
We
so
are,
enjoy,
but
Patreon subscribers. But you think about the story of Abraham, right, and Isaac, and I always wonder. I know the story is in there, right? When he's going to sacrifice his son, right? I know the story is there.
yes.
I've always wondered for what purpose, and are we taking the correct lesson from it, right?
Mm,
Because Abraham heard God say, "Go kill your son," right? That's what Abraham heard, right?
right.
Again, that's what the story goes, and he was
Mhm.
like, "Okay, cool, I'm gonna go do this," right?
Right.
Even though you gave me this son, I'm gonna go sacrifice him because I trust you, right?
Right. Mhm.
God steps in. There's a ram. Don't do it. Kill the ram instead, right? You know, you could look at that as, hey, he was obedient, right? And that's all God wanted. So then God stopped him from doing this heinous thing. Or, right,
Yeah.
he misunderstood. Either way, God stopped him from doing it.
Right.
Right. God was like, no, 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 we're not doing this. Like, do this over here instead, right? Like, that's not what I want you to do, actually. So
Right.
I don't know, right? But like thinking about the idea of obedience versus love, like many people take that story as the ultimate in obedience, right? Like he was willing to kill his own son, and we should all be so obedient, right? And
Yep.
if he had gone through with it, then God would have given him a new son or something. Like it's all good, right? I'm like, I don't know that that's the correct lesson to take from this, right?
Right.
Um,
When
but
but thinking about these things, okay, so and then also Ellen G. White wrote about that in Patriarchs and Prophets, the whole both of, or I only remember what she wrote about with Abraham, and it wasn't necessarily about obedience the way she explained it. It was more about faith, right? Which still comes to the same thing, amounts to the same thing. Like something, the same thing happened with Peter, where he had that dream sheet with the stuff in it, and God told him to get up and eat, and then he said, "No, I've never eaten this," um, and then he was or unclean or whatever, and then he gave him his message, about don't call people unclean. So I think that um according to like Ellen White. So I kind of I well not so, but according to Ellen White, but I also think it's kind of true, is that it wasn't necessarily it was a play on his the culture that he was steeped in, because remember, like, his culture, the Israelite culture, had not started yet, right? So he's coming from people who do this, who sacrifice kids and stuff like
Mhm.
that, right? God's calling him out of that, and but this is still ingrained in him. So it's a normal thing for them to sacrifice their kids to God. So he saw this as a normal thing. He could have, had he not been in that situation, simply be like, no, what are you talking about? I am not going to sacrifice my son. Not because I think my son is better, but I'm not going to kill my son.
Mhm.
That I was
Yeah.
like, no, you'll have to come up with something else. And this is how I see God as reasonable, like not even just reasonable, like God's like, I wouldn't want you to sacrifice your son, right?
Right. Yeah, like maybe like he maybe he actually failed that test, right? But we didn't we don't have record of that piece because that's not
Right,
what they were
yeah,
focused on. But like
right.
maybe honestly he should have been like, no. All right, folks. Hey, special thanks to our subscribers over at patreon.com/unofficially opinionated. Thanks to visionary level supporters Babs, Kate, Hot Space, and Abby.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you guys. So those of you who don't know, this is where you can support us. Help us keep making videos. Man, I'm so out of breath. I don't know. I'm getting old. I, I was walking up the stairs, 2 flights of stairs,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't realize I was kind of half jogging,
Mm-hmm.
and now I'm like, okay. Yes, but yes, we thank you again for your support. This is how we're able to kind of keep doing this. This again is our kind of part-time deal, but there are still expenses involved as far as software and subscriptions and things. So
Mm-hmm.
this helps us do that. And so if you'd like to just say thank you and support us, that's where you can go do it.
Yeah.
Visionary level is the top level. You get access to the Discord and also the unedited versions of our reactions.
Hi.
Oh, what, dude?
Do we know what consent is?
Right? They did not. Oh, okay. He
But we're
went back.
just
Yeah, we're just doing
wait a minute.
that.
What? Huh?
He's about to see something and get emotionally hurt.
What is it that we're looking for?
Hawk.
See? Yeah.
Shit. Get some food in him. Keep him away from the booze. I'll be back tomorrow.
No. No, I want to be with you. Sleep in the same bed with you all night. Not get kicked out at midnight so the neighbors won't see me leaving in the morning. I want to eat a meal with you like other couples. We have never eaten in a restaurant. Men do eat in restaurants.
Okay. Okay.
Now here you do got to be a little bit careful because all
He does, because he has to make sure that he doesn't have any open wounds.
Mm-hmm.
You come here looking for forgiveness?
Dude, you gonna pick a fight now?
Because I don't have any left to give. I'm too angry to forgive anybody.
I need to see you, Skippy. That's all I know.
He looks like Carter.
To know, you always tell me. Perhaps,
Just like a
perhaps.
no more wine for you. So.
Right? No, he said I'm
A
cutting you
million
off.
times I ask you, and then I ask you over
Oh God.
again.
Singing to him. He's
You
like looking
always
at me.
I know.
answer.
This is why you can't do this.
Perhaps.
You are not ready.
I think you should leave.
You mean I think you should leave, nigger?
Oh.
Don't worry.
Okay.
I don't waste my money in this alley dump anyway.
Marcus, what's going on?
They won't let you in?
It's fine. Just go back to
It's not fine.
Just forget it. I'm leaving anyway.
No. Who do you think all of these people came to see?
He goes or you both go. Fine with me, we're overrun with fags tonight.
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying you and your boyfriend need to get out of here.
I'm a boyfriend.
This guy.
There you go. Oh! He did it. Hit me again.
Again.
Oh, I was just playing. Don't hit me again.
In the face?
I in the chest, please.
Not me. No, sir.
Keep looking at me. Who do you belong to? You.
I'm sorry, but it isn't enough.
You said what?
It isn't enough.
Who do you belong to?
You know his life, what he been doing.
I belong to the whole thing. My name. The whole thing.
Doesn't want to be called the word faggot, which is a word that a lot of gay people have claimed. Like, you know, the N word.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't mind saying it, but I don't think YouTube will mind it. but also that word is, you know, black people have claimed it, but he has not, it seems, been able to claim.
Right. Well, I don't think he was so much offended by it, in that he didn't want to be seen as gay. Right. So I don't think he was like, I'm offended by the word. He was like, oh, I don't need them thinking I'm gay in the situation, because he's not out and he doesn't, you know, he was just coming to see the show.
But the show is, excuse me, he said it was going to be filled with a bunch of white gay men.
Well, that's what that's what he said who was in there, but I can't imagine that's the only people that were in the club.
Well, and then the bouncer also said that, you know, we're full with enough.
Well, yeah,
faggots,
right. But I think he was saying that because he assumed the two of them were both queer, right? So I think he was like, we got enough of that as well. He was like, wait a minute, that's not the issue. Like, I was just here to see. Like, I'm not, you know, that's how it seemed to me. Like, he wasn't offended by the word. He was offended by the not offended, but scared of the implication, right? Because he's not trying to be out yet.
I don't know, bruh. I don't know. This isn't enough. Like, we still have to be talking this out. Like, I need to understand some things. There's just so much going on. I am so hooked to this show. Like,
Hey,
I'm just...
Come in.
They said they were going to tell my mother what I was. I begged them not to. She was sick. I told her anyway. She never looked at me again.
That's probably for the best, to be honest.
Won't be long, Tim. Pastoral Mission Health Center.
They know you by name.
They know you.
Opening on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I worked here. Before.
Dock to the next floor.
You said your sister needs a break.
They even put him on, give him
I
liver
nursed my
spots.
kids through measles, mumps, broken arms. How long would you need? No.
All right. Well, there we have it.
There we have it.
I really want to watch the 4th episode. Oh my God. Yes. I'm just so invested in this show. So.
Yes, the political intrigue is getting heightened now with this McCarthy stuff. So anyway, I don't want to spoil our review.
Right.
So if y'all want to see what we think about the episode overall, in a couple of days, the review will be out and you can check it out there. So
yes.
Thanks for joining us for this reaction. It's been fun as always.
It has been.
And I guess we'll see y'all folks on the next one.
Yeah.
All right.
Ciao.
Later. I clicked it. Try it again.